Invincible versus. So here's the news. They say no more conquest, infinite quality of life, bunch of bug fixes. So what are the actual changes if you look through here? The most urgent changes are going out in today's hotfix. We're targeting our more comprehensive gameplay patch at a later date, aka this is just like quick stuff they can slap in right now, and then they'll make like a bigger pass of changes later on. No more conquest infinite, in parentheses, it was causing a little too much happy chaos. No matter where you go, you can't escape him, huh? That's messed up. Happy chaos has cooler mix-ups than every character in this game, and I don't even like that character. Some general quality of life updates, improvements for ranked when dealing with disconnects, and lots of bug fixes. Do they still have problems with people rage quitting all the time? Didn't they solve this like when the game came out, they said? You can skip match intros, let's fucking go. Ah. Conquest can no longer change jump charge medium into itself. Jumping charge medium now scales correctly when repeated in the same combo. Basically, he could just do jump medium over and over and over and over. So you would like tag in, like look, he did a scale combo, tag in conquest. This is the combo. You would just TOD someone. Yeah, it was very, very easy. The happy chaos shit was hard. Executionally, it's like really hard. This is just charge medium into itself over and over, like charge medium into itself. Fix some rollback for VFX, they say, where like lighting and like flashing and stuff on supers was messing things up, and some rank changes. So if somebody disconnects, it now gives you an in-game message that says opponent disconnected, you win, and you always gain your points, which is pretty nice. Improved motion controls handling of boost dash inputs. Sometimes you would spend 1 meter instead on accident. I did see this happen to people. Hold up, that's crazy. Motion input players couldn't input passwords? That's really funny. They added motion controls late into the game. There's probably gonna be a lot of bugs or weird things about them. And importantly, stuff like this they probably never thought about. Nothing about making the game fun. Okay, 2 things. I think removing the Conquest Infinite makes the game more fun for people. I also think removing the Conquest Infinite makes the game less fun for some people. That being said, it's good that they got this out of there pretty quickly. This game, you guys have like watched it for a bit. It's clearly got some problems. Some thoughts as someone who thinks this game's kind of fun, even though I have a bunch of disagreements with certain things about it. For quality of life stuff for me, if I would like to play the game online, I have to pick one of my loadouts and then go play with those 3 characters. But if I want to change character, which especially is very common in the beginning of the game, I have to leave training mode, go back to the main menu, go back to my loadout change my loadout, reload back into training mode. I have to manually select all of my characters again because you can't pick the loadout to pick your characters for training mode. Then load back into training mode, then queue again. It really makes that whole thing annoying. Another thing is, rather than always resetting to the point character, sometimes I'll be wanting to practice combos with my 3rd character as an example, and then like every time I reset, it resets me back to my 1st character. And to my knowledge, you can't like reset to the 2nd and 3rd character unless there's like a training mode setting I don't know about. 2xKO as an example, you can just hold the tag button while you reset and then it just has your other character in. Something to make that work would be really convenient for how the game is now. For stuff I would like to see changed in the game, not to my preference, but just I think it's probably important for this game to change in general. The way assists work defensively and the way block strings work, I think is like really bad. I don't know if you guys have noticed, but making someone block in this game is really hard. There is a universal generic armored attack, heroic strike. Besides that, there's a push block. There are gaps between doing light into medium into heavy. You can mash invincible or like armored moves, and you can mash assist. A lot of people are just mashing their assists while in block stun. And with things like Atomy Fireball or like Rocket assist from like Cecil or the robot or anybody who's like behind you, you just get hit by it. I think a lot of people are doing that. It's basically just like dash up and then like let them attack you and then you call your assist because it's just really powerful. So you see what he does? All he does is block and then he mashes his assist in block stun. You see this? You see, you just do that. You just block and then call this Eve assist, and that's what he's doing, basically, because you, like, can't... Yeah, you just get hit by it. I missed it. He was about to do wake up invincible armor move into fucking infinite. You see that fireball, by the way? That shit legit is... Oh my god, and he's mashing... Dude, his defensive choices have been block, mash armor, mash assist, or mash level 3. Look at that. You just look at that shit, dude. And my question is, what about the offense in this game is so strong that you need that? To start, the offense in the game is not even gapless. You do have built-in unblockables on every character, which is pretty good, but that comes from the assists having overhead properties. So you just do button plus assist into low, and you do an overhead and low at the same time. I guess they decided assist needed to be overhead to compensate for the character moves having 50 mids in them or something. And like, I don't know how people are going to be having fun and how useful the offense will be in the game if that's the way like defense works. So much of it now is like block into mash assist, mash armor, like no one is holding shit. And also, yeah, E fireball assist is just crazy. It is one of the craziest assists I've ever called in a fighting game in my life. I have comboed off of it where someone else threw me, my assist hit them during their throw, and then I woke up and lariated them with Mark. That is insane. Look, he command grabs him, Eve assist comes out and hit. You're gonna unblockable me, and then my Eve assist is gonna come out and do this to you, and I'm gonna combo off it. If you walk up to somebody and just do button into assist, in theory, you should unblockable them every time, which is like insane, and this game is defensive. Isn't that crazy? Like, how is that possible? But I think it's true. It's just like how the offense and defense of the game works. A lot of this game feels like it was made with the design lens of we hate a lot of these things about versus games. I don't know why, but I feel like this game was made with hatred in their heart, because you know how like philosophers will talk about a prophecy of a block string that was true, and they're like, oh, like everybody freaks out. Like that's what I feel like the discussion was in the room around most of the mechanics in the game. So their fear made them be like, okay, we can't have someone block light, medium, heavy, special assist in a versus game. That is far too egregious. It's in a weird spot. Maybe you should not be able to activate assist for a certain amount of frames that a block's done. You know what I mean? I think that's one of the biggest things is like being able to safely mash defensive assists during pressure. There's just so little downside and so much upside that I imagine they will probably address it in some way. The biggest thing that this game has going for it, though, is that I think they're down to change stuff. One thing about this game that I've been talking about is basically that the combos are like short without spending a lot of resources. And people get really upset when I say that. They're like, well, yeah, why is that a problem? It's supposed to be that way. Like, why are you upset that the combos are really short with no resources? You don't get it. You're supposed to engage with the breaker system or use boost. Basically, the thing you have to understand is that fighting game players do not want to engage with interaction. What players are going to do is optimize out the damage they can without giving the other person an interaction point most of the time. Why give your opponent an extra chance to break when you could just like do guaranteed 30 or 40 or whatever percent into Oki and then do it that way. KI, it has a different break system, but there's a similar thought process, which is people would do like one chance combos and then take resets or like take like knockdowns that were favorable and not try to extend combos too much unless they like had a moment where you messed up and you couldn't break the combo too much. And this will be similar, I think. Active tagging opens an opportunity for you to break, and the break is bad for me. If you break me, you get offense on me, and then I'm getting Oki'd from my combo, right? It should reset to neutral, I think. It shouldn't be so penalizing. In KI, when it was originally built, in like season 1, it would hard knock you down when you broke someone. And Glacius, the zoner, would unblockable you if you broke your combo. So obviously, when season 2 and season 3 and stuff started, Iron Galaxy made a bunch of changes to the breaker system because they were like, all right, well, this is not good. So they made it reset to neutral. And this exact thing is like what I talked about with Burst Oki in Strive and then 2x KO. And then I think the same thing with this game in like tag breakers. I wish it would reset you back to neutral. Yeah, that's another thing. I don't know if I'm incorrect about this, but if you like counter break someone in this game, if you do the feint and you bait their breaker, how much damage do you really get? It seems like you just get a fresh meter, but like in this game, without spending extra resources like tagging or boost, it doesn't seem like you get that much damage. Maybe I'm wrong though. Maybe there's like a way to extend to get huge damage, but it feels like you just get a fresh meter with no stipulations, which is like not that much damage. But that was the thing in KI that made counterbreakers scary, is like the counterbreaker would just give you a huge amount of damage that you could cash out. You took a risk, but then your reward was like really high damage. Burst is different from like the active tag breaker in this game. A burst is like a resource that your opponent can play around and bait and like give you more or less of depending on what they're doing. Like a burst is a little different than that. This game also has burst. You see it a lot. When you tag your characters out in this game, they regen boost faster and your new character has all their boost. And then that character can use their boost to break if they have the assist up. And then, you know, like you just see a lot of breaking. So that's why like short combo super is very popular right now, I think. It will probably change The game itself, I suspect, will change, to be honest. There's just so much like, yeah, fuck it in this game right now on defense, where you just like thoughtlessly mash like one of 6 options or something. And it's like really gross feeling, I think. And it looks gross. It's like 2 people barbarically flailing when the other person gets near them. The reverse is like, if you block and don't do that, my opponent does stand medium, call assist, crouching medium, and it's a low and overhead, and I get hit. That's not great either. I don't really think if I block a medium, I should get unblockable every time. They have to make changes to the system of this game, right? So I'm like pretty invested because I think they have like a conundrum here about the way they want to change things. And I'm like so curious to see what they're gonna do.